This is Realtor Mag.
Yes. And it's not from me. I walked in this morning. He's like, I'm surprised his computer even opened up to the page.
Well, Inman's got their big event going, Inman Connect today, which seems like they're doing that every other week. And
I
so,
feel like we already did that. Didn't we already do that? Didn't we talk about it?
There's been a lot of them.
Well, I guess when it's virtual, I mean, you keep hitting it up, going, right?
So that was kind of taking over all their content today. But on Realtor Mag, Airbnb, buyers use rentals to test new neighborhoods. Prospective home buyers are using short-term rentals as an opportunity to test out neighborhoods and cities before committing to a full relocation, according to data from Airbnb. Listen, we're one of those winning markets here in Connecticut on the shoreline, in our rural towns, in our shoreline towns, where we've seen this influx of New Yorkers wanting to escape. New York City is obviously the most impacted from COVID, people migrating out for a variety of reasons. And a lot of these, a large number of these leads and buyers that we've spoken to have literally never spent any time in. Some of them have, and a lot of them have. I do think it's either one or the other. I think that people are moving here because their best friend lives here. Yep, there's that.
I think I've had 2 people move in from New York City, and they picked our town because their best friend lives here.
Yep,
like they didn't look at any other town. They didn't want to look at any other town.
But there's a lot of them who are home shopping.
Yes.
And just saying, and then they're calling. I had this call recently. I got to share this call. It was just mind blowing to me over the weekend.
Oh boy, you got a little peacocky with it though, like a little angry.
Because it is such a ridiculous question.
Well,
the way it was framed,
maybe,
and why I had to like.
But maybe you could have rounded your edges a little.
Maybe, but you weren't on the call, so I had very round edges, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's the thing: I had a call this weekend on a new listing that we put up, and it's in a particular town in Connecticut, very rural town. A New Yorker called, and she said we had a long conversation. It was a 25-minute conversation, and in the second half of that conversation, she says, "From your perspective, would this be the right town for me? Would I like this town?" This is someone who's never even been in the county, never physically visited the county that we were discussing here in Connecticut, let alone the town. I said, listen, the last thing I can do is answer that question for you. You should really start to learn these locations. If you want to buy real estate out here in Connecticut, you're not going to buy the best house just because you're drawn to the house. You got to understand the area. Come out here, take a visit. This, going and doing an Airbnb for a weekend and being able to, instead of just driving out and having to drive back, no place to stay, this gives you the ability to get into the coffee shops, go down into the town, drive around, meet a few people.
Well, and not just in that one town that you're in. I mean, obviously,
go to the other towns.
Some of the cities that they're talking about are a little bit larger, but I mean, our towns, like you can pretty much get to a decent handful of towns.
I got to tell you,
within 10 to 15 minutes.
When I hear a question that is so it comes with so little thought.
It's so funny. So I feel like maybe last year, almost the same week, we talked about throwaway questions.
That was a throwaway question. Meaning,
we talked about this. I remember I asked you if you were ready for Halloween. If you picked out your outfit.
Oh yeah.
That was you're like, that was a throwaway. So this was sort of a throwaway question.
It was so unthoughtful. It was such a bad question that my radar went up. And I'm like, is this somebody trying to, we talked about the Newsday investigation.
She could have just been looking for some guidance. It was not worded properly.
Is she trying to get me to steer her in a location because she's undercover? Like the question was so bad that my radar went up, and I'm like, this is very odd of a question. It's a very odd question.
Well, maybe you should have just offered her out hey, give me your email. I'll send you out some links. I send out town links.
I said to her, listen, I'm happy to do a virtual tour, a physical tour of the property. My recommendation to you before you do any of that is start with researching the towns.
Yeah.
This would have been a great, examples. Hey, go do some Airbnb. Airbnb guests are booking longer stays of 2 weeks or more in small and mid-sized cities with access to natural surroundings and wide open spaces. Some of the popular cities for Airbnb rentals are Park City.
I'm sure these were probably popular before.
Steamboat Springs, Durham,
Park City. I mean,
Santa Fe, Boise, Idaho, Richmond, Greenville, South Carolina, Indianapolis, and Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Those are just examples. But hey, I think this is I mean, listen.
It's brilliant. Why not?
Would you ever buy somewhere? Like, would you call somebody up in Colorado and be like, love the house? Do you think I'd love the town that you've never met? That knows nothing about you?
I mean, I live in the same house that I have since I was 2. So I don't think that I wouldn't even, no way. Are you kidding me? I can't even leave my own town. That's how comfortable I feel here.
This is not a racket. Consumers calling agents they've never met in towns they've never stepped foot in, asking if they would like the town. That is an all-time racket.
That is a little bit of a racket. But I'm really happy to see, I mean, because again, back at the beginning of the pandemic, between Uber and Airbnb, it was like shut down. And now Airbnb is, I mean, it's really becoming a vital resource for consumers. So again, I think that if you're in the right spot, keep buying them and keep Airbnb them out. Why not?
Yeah, because it's different than staying in a hotel to get to know the area. If you're shopping for single family homes, now you're staying in a single family home. You can actually put yourself in that moment of what it would be like to live here, pull into a garage, be a member of the community.
Wow.
Do it all.
You're really getting kind of like, you're moving this morning.
I like it.